I just saw a little note that said it's showtime. So excited to be here. Corey Poirier with Blue Talks, with the Book of Why and How. But this isn't about me today. I wanted to come on and share something with you that I thought is important that people know. And it's still, it's interesting because I'm planning to ask some questions to understand this even myself a bit further, because I'm still a bit blown away by this. It doesn't seem like it's real. So I'm going to explain what I mean by that once I bring the guest on here. I will tell you we're streaming live on LinkedIn Live now, finally. It took a little time, but we got LinkedIn Live, which is definitely a work in progress, but it's a really great channel. We are live on YouTube if you're watching us here. We're live on our various Blue Talks channels. We're live on my main page and on and on. So I want to thank everybody for tuning in and just kind of let you know, I know we're, if you're maybe not on Facebook, which would be the traditional way I would have done this, I know you're there. I'm watching you. I'm saying hi. And so I'm really excited to bring on this guest to tell us, and I say guest, it's not even really a guest. It's somebody that I've known for quite some time who has this amazing thing that she's doing. It still blows my mind. Like I say, I'm still trying to figure it out. So I'm hoping I'm going to in this conversation. But I want to bring her on and explore it more so that people that are curious about this, when I say, do you want to win a chance to win a six-figure business? Even when I put it on my Facebook page, people, you could tell even in the responses, they're like, this doesn't seem real. And I actually said the words, it might be sound too good to be true, but this is one of the times where it is. So having said that, I wanted to bring on Deanne Riendeau and get her to tell us all about this new thing that she's doing, this exciting thing that she's doing. I think I see that you may be muted, Deanne. So there we go. Okay, so Deanne, welcome.
Hello, and thank you so much, Corey, for having me. It's such a pleasure to just chat and share. And you kind of gave a little bit of an idea of what's been happening behind the scenes for me and my organization and what we're doing. So we are hosting a national competition in order to gift my company away. And like you said, it might sound too good to be true. And I've had a lot of people asking questions like, well, what's wrong with it? Are you being sued? What's going on? Why are you trying to get rid of your business? And let me tell you a little bit about the backstory of this business so you understand what it's about and why it's so important that I continue the legacy of what I've started. So I was really sick growing up. I was chronically ill. I dedicated my career to healthcare, and through my own, spiritual evolution and through my journey, and I discovered that there was a really significant gap in our healthcare system, and that gap was around holistic medicine, holistic health, alternative health, complementary medicine, whatever you want to call it, what I found in my own journey was that it was very hard to access the providers that could help me. There was all these layers of all these issues, and I wasn't getting the help in the Western medical system that one might think would happen. And so I looked and went on this journey into holistic health, and it changed my life so dramatically. I knew I needed to do something about it. So I started 6 years ago this organization called Your Holistic Earth. It's the first holistic healthcare system in the world, and it consists of two branches. It's got a public branch in which we help the public access care, information, financing to become healthier or to prevent illness as well. And so we've got a non-for-profit branch that covers that. And then on the other side, we have our health business branch. And so this is, you could compare it to a chamber of commerce specific for health professionals, where we create opportunities, speaking, connections in order for them to have success and grow their businesses. So in putting the public that are seeking the healthcare and the healthcare providers under one umbrella, what happens is we create this beautiful, beautiful synchronized system of support and really this elevated living that we're really trying to raise the bar on the quality of our lives, because we are now in a time where we're actually getting sicker than we've ever been before, yet we have more technology than we've ever had. We also have an aging population. We have an increase in mental health issues. We have an increase in addiction issues. And so, my heart is really drawn to shifting and reshaping and reframing how we look at our health, how we show up in a day to day. And, the last 6 years, I have poured my life into this. I have loved every second of it. I've gained so much value. And people say, well, Deanne, why don't you sell the company? Why wouldn't you, want to monetize off it? And part of that is around the concept that it is about creating this movement around how we can live better lives and not be attached to monetary things, into materialistic things. It's part of me walking the talk. And so if I really want to be in integrity and if I really want to be in alignment, selling this organization doesn't feel in alignment for me. But giving it away does, because there's a legacy here. Your Holistic Earth is about reshaping humanity. It is far more than just this entity or organization. There's a movement, there's an underlying energy to it. And so if I want to keep that energy alive and moving forward, giving it to somebody else who also shares in that passion and wanting to change the world and wanting to help people and wanting to walk the talk, then this is what makes the most sense.
Wow. So probably back there, but one of the things, when you say that about gifting it versus selling it, I had a newspaper for years that was very unique in the place where I started it. I ran it for 6 years monthly, and I thought for quite a while I should sell it. And I ultimately didn't, but I walked away from it, which seemed weird to people as well. Like, right. Why wouldn't you sell it? If you're going to walk away anyway, why wouldn't you get some money from it? But for me, I was worried about watching the newspaper. Like, it had a legacy where it survived, it did well, it had this certain energy around it, and my fear was selling it for a small amount of money and then seeing somebody run into the ground. I'm not saying that was where my head was at the time. It's really interesting that, had I been who I am today, I think what I would have done is found a way to gift it to somebody.
Isn't that interesting?
And so, so now when you say that, it doesn't seem so weird to me. Although it would have been, like, the idea of giving it away. I was like, I'm not going to sell it. I'm not going to give it away. I'm going to let it die. And that doesn't seem right either. Like you said about legacy, this newspaper was serving so many people, and I just said, see ya. And now some of me that regrets it, it can't go back in time. But I get it, is what I'm trying to say. So I guess then, Deanne, the first question, now, I know you're open to talking about this where some people wouldn't be, but I openly said that it was a six-figure business because you said it was a six-figure business on the first video where you introduced that. So I guess I know that you're a truthful person, but I can say, so for people listening, it is legit a six-figure business that they would be winning if they win.
Absolutely, it is. Yeah. So here's what I want to be really transparent about. I haven't made hundreds of thousands of dollars off this company. I haven't. I started it from the roots. It had never been done before. I learned a lot of things along the way, spent a lot of money I didn't need to along the way. In fact, we've been through, I think, 7 websites and I think almost, $70,000 in websites, over the course of the 6 years. So there's money that's been spent that probably didn't need to be. But I chose to actually run it as a quasi non-for-profit. So I'm very fortunate in that I have other businesses. I'm also heavy into real estate. So I have rental properties and things like that. So I was in a position where I could make ends meet in other areas. And so what I chose to do with Your Holistic Earth, because I so deeply believed in it, was I chose to roll most of the money back in. Although with it, I got training and traveling and all these other perks. So I chose consciously to roll the money back in to my self-development as well as to the organization's growth, advancement, etc. And that was a conscious choice. But our revenue is, we're pushing about 140 last year. This year we might see a little bit of a step back because of COVID. We did have a decrease in some of our membership. We also held a lot of our memberships for our members because that's the type of organization we are. We really want to take care of people at the end of the day, right? So, I want to let people know that are coming in that there's definitely profit there if you want there to be. And plenty of it to earn a very decent salary. There's also other opportunities that come with this, right? Like I talked about, the travel, the experiences of, learning and growing and personal development. I have gained personally so much value from the work that I've done, the people I've met, the connections I've made, that I can't even put a dollar amount on it. There's no price tag to put on that, right? And I think you can relate to that too, Corey. Sometimes there's just not a price tag you can attached to the experience. And so it's been extremely beautiful for me. It also has helped me in my other businesses as well. So it's created this ripple effect. I mean, I can't even put into words the value of what this really is about. And this is creating an opportunity for somebody to have me as a support system for a couple of years. People pay tens of thousands of dollars to mentor with me, and they're going to get that at a fraction of the price, and plus a free business to go along with it. So there is a tremendous amount of value. The other thing I want to share too is that Your Holistic Earth, because we have a non-for-profit umbrella as well, we've been applying for grants, and so we're anticipating getting some significant grant funding, which will then also add to the pool of resources, as well as the potential for Your Holistic Earth to subcontract out to the non-for-profit as well and make money there. So the opportunities are endless.
Well, and I love that you're such a honest person. I love that you unpacked how that money came, like how the six figures comes in, but also to say, I'm not saying it's like net six figures every year, no investment, that type of thing. So I love that you're honest at the end. And so I also love that you unpack the fact that, which, I mean, obvious for somebody starting a business, I love the fact that you also unpack the fact that with this company, there's so much more potential too. So for example, whenever I said that with my newspaper that I let go, just to say I understand what you're saying, it's with the newspaper, when we had it, we could have taken it so many other directions. Like it never lost money. Ran it for 6 years in a small little province. And this is a print newspaper. It wasn't even online. And this isn't that long ago. And we could have easily took it to the neighboring province and doubled our revenue. And then went to the province. I actually, for a lot of the time, thought about taking it across the country. So it could have went from revenues of hundreds of thousands to millions. So, I mean, so I hope anybody listening, even if they hear the things that you're saying, you rolled money back in and stuff, I hope what they hear is that as a new vision, they could come in and say, okay, well, this is something we're not doing that we could be. Blue Talks, for instance, one of the things I'm looking at doing at some point, and I'm putting this out there and then I'm going to dial it back and then pretend I didn't say it for a while. But, people come to me about writing articles and I'm like, why can't we do something like Huffington Post for Blue Talks? That's a whole other revenue stream. So what my point is, if you talked to me about Blue Talks Day and ignored that, but you took it over, then you could say, well, what if we went there? What if we went here? So, the right person could see where the potential keeps going from that. The question, which I know the answer to, but I'd rather let you answer, from Lana. Lana asks, is this a Canadian company?
Yes, it absolutely is a Canadian company. However, we do have members and other affiliates in United States. We also have some coming out of Australia. So we've been moving this into an international platform for quite some time. So yes, we're registered, we're incorporated. We are in Canada, in Alberta specifically. But the contest, we'd like somebody who is in Canada, because it just makes the logistics of transferring ownership and all of that over easier. Doesn't mean that we rule people out if they're applying from outside of the country, but that is the preference.
Awesome. And then what I'd like to ask as well, Deanne, is what's the process for somebody if they are interested, if they want to pursue this? I mean, I'd like to, I'm sure they're thinking, well, is it as simple as, do I send an email and say, hey, I want a company, and then you draw a name out of a hat? They're probably wondering what the process looks like.
Well, we decided to make it really fun. So the first application process is really to weed out people that, maybe aren't quite as invested. So there are 2 one-page essays. Okay, one-page essays, nothing, right? This is just, we want to know what your vision is for the organization. We want to know that you've done your due diligence and your research, so it's the right fit for you. Also, why? Why do you want the company? So those are 2 essay components, a quick little video as well, resumes, those sorts of things. So just a few pieces into the application process, and we have until September 25th. So September 25th is the deadline. We did extend it because we're still working with some media as well, and so we extended it to just give us a little bit more time. And then there's going to be a phase 2. So the finalists will be announced in October, and the phase 2 will be a 30-day kind of like if you could imagine a reality TV show where they have to do a series of tasks and they get points and that sort of thing. And so applications who make it to the final level, they get to have some fun with it. So they'll get points for getting free member signups. They'll get points for getting paid member signups. They'll get points for attending different events, for networking, those sorts of things. So, it's kind of a fun process for everybody, and it's a win-win for everybody. The finalists will also be heavily promoted via social media. So if they're already business owners or, are just looking for an opportunity for more exposure, it's a great opportunity for that as well.
And now, the other things that you're working on now, for example, I know there's a business awards coming up in October. Is that now? I don't know myself, so I'm asking the founder. Is that completely run by Your Holistic Earth? Is that a partnership? How's that set up? And
Yeah. So Business from the Heart is part of Your Holistic Earth. So basically we have our Heal book that we do. We have a compilation book we do. We have events that we do. All of that's going. We even have the rights to holistopedia.com, and we have a book, the Holistic Encyclopedia as well, that we produce. All of that goes under Your Holistic Earth. So, it's, like you had mentioned earlier, like there's so much opportunity here. I'm looking for someone who can take this to a 7-figure business. Because I know the potential is there. And I'll be honest, my energy has been divided between my kids, my other businesses that I have. So I've really only been putting in for the last few years about 20 hours a week into this company. So if you can imagine, if you were to come in and put full-time hours in, oh my gosh, like the world's your oyster. It really is.
And so what does your life look like once the giveaway has happened? And then I guess the other side is, when do you see the vision for the giveaway happening? Because you mentioned there's going to be this finalist process, stuff like that. So ultimately, is there a certain timeline you would see handing over the keys? And then secondly, what does your life look like? I know you said you'd be mentoring. You also mentioned your children. You mentioned your other businesses. So what does life look like for Deanne after this?
Thank you so much for that. So first of all, we are going to announce the finalist in December, and we're going to be changing hands. I'm hoping it'll all be done by 2021, kind of start the new year off with new hands. So that's the intention, that the new president would be taking over, and all the paperwork and all the legal stuff would be taken care of by then, and switching over for January 2021. I will be staying on for a couple of years as a mentor. That's one of the requirements to taking ownership, because it is so important that I don't just throw someone in there and say, have fun, good luck. I worked far too hard to let that happen, and I want to see them have great success. I want to see them have loads of success. So I'm going to be sticking around for at least a couple years in terms of a mentorship coaching capacity for the new ownership, as well as to ensure that the values and the core and the energy of what we've created remains there. And then my life, really what this looks like is me not juggling so many balls. I'm tired of juggling balls, and some of them are starting to drop. And so I'm recognizing, again, if I want to walk the talk and really design and create the life that I really want, then I've got to show up in that way. And so I have a spiritual practice. It's been running alongside Your Holistic Earth for the last 6 years. I love it. I feel my heart gets filled every time I get to sit with somebody. I teach courses. I teach people how to tap into their gifts, their clairvoyancy, their claircognizance, all of those beautiful clairs. I help them to understand the world through an energetic lens, which allows them to have more clarity, which allows them to really get conscious about creating the life that they want. So that other business is where I really want to spend my energy and my focus, continuing to nurture people, but just in a different way. That spiritual path has been calling me, and the soul work has been so profound in magnifying my life and really creating what I want for myself. So, that's what I want to be able to share with other people. So that's what I'm being drawn to right now. And I will share this too. There's a big difference between being drawn and being driven. And, I was I was called to create Your Holistic Earth. It was divinely guided to me to create it. But I also am recognizing it's telling me that my time is coming to an end on that level. I'm being drawn now to really focus on strictly the spiritual practice that I have, and really allow somebody else to take this opportunity and to create what they are feeling drawn to create out of it.
Well, Dan, and I said this to you off air. I know you won't mind me saying it on air as well, but I think something is happening because you've always had a good energy, but I feel like you have this, and I said this to you again off air, but you have this sort of energy right now that feels just so trusting of the process and stuff like that. And so it feels like you've taken another step closer to that, maybe by ultimately making this tough decision with a baby that you birthed into the world. As we, as entrepreneurs, that's what happens with us. And so I think whatever is going on, it's paying dividends already, but and 100% true. And I guess the other thing I want to ask you then is, as again we start winding down, important question people might be asking is, what can they do? Now, obviously, they haven't reached out or anything yet at this stage, but what can they do to put their best foot forward to look like somebody that you would trust to run this company and bring it to new heights?
Well, I say reach out to me. Find me on Facebook. Find my contact, whether from yourholisticearth.ca. You can go into the website, yourholisticearth.ca. All the information's there. Reach out to me directly. Don't hesitate. I'm not unreachable. I like talking to people and connecting with people. It's one of the things that drives me and moves me as well. So please reach out to me. Obviously, if you're not a free member with Your Holistic Earth yet, become a free member with Your Holistic Earth. That'll help. Join our Facebook groups, like our pages, do whatever you can do. And of course, if you're out there watching and this isn't for you, but somebody who this might be a good fit for, please share it. We want more people to know about this opportunity. We know that we're getting some really incredible quality applications in, but I want to have as many as possible to choose from. So I really want to encourage you to just, step out, say hello, get connected.
And then my last question, and then I'm just going to ask you how people, or anything else they should know about finding out about this or reaching out or what have you. But before I jump ahead to that, what about the connection to health and wellness? I mean, this was a passion for you because of what you saw going on. So how crucial is it for the person that's applying to also have that passion or see that they feel things aren't going the way they should and need to change and stuff like that? Like, how important is that part, and will they include that perhaps in their essay and stuff like that?
Yeah, I would say that is definitely a piece that's important. I've stayed a little bit out of the political chaos that's been going on because I'm very grounded. I'm very rooted. I really trust in the process. So I'm in a different place of, my opinions around everything that's going on. And so that's a little bit less important. What's more important is really about your vision of what you want humanity to look like. What do you want? How do you want to show up in the world? How do you want to change how things are going, versus getting caught up into the political stuff? So I just encourage people to get really focused, get really heart-centered when they are, putting together their essay and their information, and really look at this from a really big picture around, okay, what can we do? What's the little part, or maybe big part, that creates this bigger ripple that really can have profound impact? So, I'm really looking for somebody who genuinely wants to see people living a better quality of life and looking for the alternatives, the solutions in order to have that better quality of life. And some people will say, well, I don't have enough health background. I spent 20 years in the healthcare sector. And so a lot of people will say, well, I don't have much of a health background. That's not as important as your passion and as the attributes that you have in order to really move something that you believe in forward.
Well, and that could mean that they don't have bad habits too, right? So they don't, and I'm not saying that people have bad habits, but they have not even bad habits. I guess the better word is they don't come into it with a certain bias that, right. I've experienced this, so this is the way it has to be. Maybe they come into it with a different perspective that, okay, well, has anybody ever tried this in the industry? I don't even know. And I think that brings, and I say that again, we bring people have experience. Like I've experienced 20 years as a speaker and helping speakers. So yes, I have the knowledge to do that. But somebody that's just brand new could say, "Have you ever tried this?" And I could go, "Geez, I never have." So I think that's part of what you just said is that you mentoring them for a couple of years with the knowledge, and then maybe not having, ignorance is bliss. Maybe they don't know what hasn't been tried, and they bring ideas to you that you're like, "Wow, where did you come up with this?"
Yeah, let's be curious. I'm a very curious person. I'm always seeking more information. So be curious. And I want to add to this too, because, I think this is important. I am not perfect. I am not the epitome of health, but I do try and walk the talk as best as I can. Do I have bad habits? Yes, I love sugar. Okay. So I'm not looking for somebody who is like hardcore, does everything right, eats a green diet, but I want somebody that can still stand in that truth and encourage and know that they're on that journey of having a better quality of life as well. So I just want to share that too, because I think some people are, I had a few people that came to me and they're like, well, Deanne, like, look at me. I don't look like I'm like this healthy person, but yet they have so much value and so much to offer. So it's not, it's about living in integrity, but it's not about being perfect. It's about you being on the journey to make your life better as well. So I just want to stress that as well, that it doesn't have to be somebody who is in perfect form of health, right? It could be somebody who's still journeying on their health journey, which most of us are, right?
Love it. So very last question, Dan. You mentioned as far as connecting further, you said they could reach out to you. Is there any other place that they want to go to reach out further? Is there any other place you want to direct them as we bring things to a close?
The website, yourholisticearth.ca, we have a Your Holistic Earth Inc. Public page, and we have a Your Holistic Earth Health Partners page. So on those two are on Facebook. You can find us on LinkedIn. We're on Instagram and Twitter too. I would say focus on the website, focus on Facebook, because that's largely where we do our stuff. But yeah, I just welcome people to reach out and share. And, I think this is an exciting time. And I think we need some real feel good energy going on out there that just says, there's hope. There's plenty of hope. There's this huge community of healers, of light being, of people that are waking up, that want to really shift humanity and really focus on making our lives better. So thank you so much again, Corey, for having me. I so appreciate you sharing this with others and taking the time to help me to promote this.
Awesome. Well, what you're doing is so important and very valuable. And I had asked you as far as the reaching out part, because I'm thinking, I'm concluding that if people reach out to you, you're going to take them through the process of the essay and all the other things they need to submit, I would assume. Is that on the website as well, or is that something where they come to you and you walk?
It's all on the website, so they can get that information all on the website. Of course, if they have questions through the application process, they can reach out. Like I said, I'm very accessible.
Awesome. Well, Dan, this has been an absolute pleasure. I thank you. I honor you. I support you. I'm going to make sure I wave the flag with this. It's such an important thing you're doing. So thanks for it. Thanks for being you. And I'm going to try to get it mentioned on our podcast, my own podcast, in the next few days as well, so we can make that deadline. So thank you for what you're doing. Thank you for gifting this. There's very few people that I know would go this far to try to give somebody their business. So I thank you. I support you. Again, I salute you, and keep doing all the great things you're doing.
Thank you, Corey. Thank you. Appreciate it so much.
Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. Until next time, I'm Corey Poirier, and I hope you enjoyed this, and definitely reach out to Deanne and learn more about how you can own your very own six-figure business. Thanks, everybody.
Amazing. Thank you.